With today's day and age, many new things have come with our generation. One of the things that's very common with this generation is the love of playing video games. Now, I personally have grown up in the video game generation. I'm not the biggest fan of video games. Now, you might look at me and go, you don't seem like the gamer type. I'm not. I have played a couple. I can't get into them. I grew up playing board games. Now, I'm a big board game fan. I love board games. And today, this is why I'm going to talk about why board games are better for your health, mentally and physically, versus playing video games all day. Video games in moderation can be okay. They can promote some good parts of your life, like they can help grow your memory, they can help with just socialization for some people who are socially awkward. They don't have to be face to face having these conversations, which is the big thing with this generation. There are benefits to it, but there are some negatives to it if you don't monitor how much you play them. According to Harvard Health, more than 2/3 of Americans play video games daily. That is a lot of people. And also, it can cause addiction to junk food, alcohol, or an addiction in general just to the video game. It can cause some health problems like obesity because you're not getting up, you're not being active, you're not moving. It can cause mental health issues because it can affect you in a negative way in your anger and rage. And it can also cause anger problems, which can line up with the mental health problems. According to Discover magazine, video games can cause the brain to go under changes, and that's not good. Playing video games can actually affect two parts of your brain. It can affect your striatum, which is the part of your brain that has the task of controlling simple stimulus response or word sequences together, and it'll cause that to grow in size. But with that growing in size, it can cause your hippocampus to shrink. And this part of your brain helps to form fuller episodic memories that can tie past experiences for context in terms of either time, place, or an emotion that can remind you of this place. Unfortunately, if that happens, a shrunken hippocampus can cause health problems under the lines of Alzheimer's or schizophrenia, which is not a good thing. Now, on the other hand, with board games can improve your short-term memory and your inhibition and your flexibility, which can have a good effect on the elderly, people with ADHD, and people who struggle with social exclusion. Now, personally, I do have ADHD, and I have noticed that board games do help me with focusing, and when it's my turn, I'm very engaged. I like to see what happens in other people's turns and how to strategize after that. So it does. I feel like I've seen a good effect on board games with me. Board games can reduce stress levels and can be a great distractor from something going on in your life. Sometimes when I get really bored, or when I know I need to take a minute, sometimes I'll be like, hey, can we play Uno? And I love playing Uno. And according to tabletop games, board games can help improve socialization, as you need to have other people present most of the time to play those games. Now, you can't play board games alone, but it's never as fun. And with video games, most of the time that's done alone. And yes, you do have interaction but that's done through the internet or FaceTime. It's not done in person most of the time. But I mean, you can get a group of friends together to play video games, but it's not the same as playing a board game where it's hands-on. It's not just holding a remote or trigger. You're actually controlling game pieces or playing with cards, or some video games can be, not video games, board games can be just done verbally. Board games can promote math and cognitive thinking without complexities and this can actually help enhance your education and grow your mind in a smarter way. Video games and math, there are some really good math video games, but sometimes it can be complex and you have to have different factors to go into it. Sometimes with board games, it can just be an easy thing like counting cash in Monopoly. It can help you to have to manually think, okay, I'm going to buy the boardwalk for $250, so I need to hand in $250, but I hand in $300. Now I have to go to the bank and get $50 out from it. And my last point is board games can encourage you to focus on studying opponents, and you are face to face with them and can kind of read their faces and see what's going on. And now that can promote cheating, but it's still very fun to be able to do that in a face to face aspect. With that, I hope you could take what I have pointed out today into consideration the next time you go to look at a screen and go, I'm going to go play video games for 10 hours. Is it really going to be worth it in the long haul?